PS5 Pro and the 4K TV are set up and ready to go, and GTA 6 is pre-ordered, it's secure, November 19th, cannot get here soon enough. I am just overwhelmingly excited for that day. Oh yeah, and Supergirl. Saw that yesterday as well, so I guess I'll talk about that. Alright, so I wasn't super excited for this film because the trailers were just not that impressive to me. Plus, I wasn't thrilled with James Gunn's Superman last year. It was kind of a tepid start to the DCU. So going into this film yesterday, the only thing it could do was pleasantly surprise me. Instead, I walked out of the film baffled. The one fact and detail about Supergirl that you're probably going to hear in a lot of the reviews and reactions is that the writer of the film is a first time screenwriter. She had never written a film script before. This is her very first feature film script. And the thing that baffles me is that James Gunn has been harping on about how they're not going to greenlight anything until they're 100% satisfied with the script. They're going to focus on quality over quantity, and they're going to make sure the script is right and ready before they go into production. So why did they hire somebody with zero screenwriting experience to do this film? Maybe James Gunn or Peter Safran or whoever was responsible for making the call to hire this writer felt they had potential, so they wanted to give her a crack at writing her first script by giving her Supergirl. But if you're going to give somebody their first crack at a script, you don't give them a DC comic book superhero blockbuster. You don't test the temperature of a swimming pool by jumping off the high dive. You dip your toe in the water. I don't know if that metaphor makes sense, but what? Why? Why do you hire somebody with no screenwriting experience to do a big DC superhero film? It makes no sense to me. And I would say a good 85% of this film's problems are down to the script. And my source of frustration with this film's writing, I'm going to aim it mainly at the executives responsible for hiring somebody with no screenwriting experience, because the writer of the film, again, it's their first script. And I'm going to try and cut them some slack, but at the same time, you know, crap is still crap. If I was to summarize Supergirl in one word, it would be uninspired. Everything about this film, from the story, plot, script, dialogue, character development, directing, overall execution of the film, just felt very generic, derivative. You know what it felt like? And I don't mean to insult the writer by saying this, but I'm just saying, thinking about it, it feels like a script that was generated by AI. Just in the way that the plot is put together, what the characters do in the plot, the character development, the characterization that's spoken out loud in the dialogue, very little nuance in the writing in every department. Once the story is established and Kara and the sidekick girl, whose name I can't remember, go on this quest, they go from place to place and they get into some skirmish and some fight scene that's not very exciting, and then they slow down, have some downtime where they explain backstories, and again they just tell each other their characterization, and then you get to the big climax where Kara suits up as Supergirl. That's not a spoiler, you see it in the trailer, you know it's going to happen. And when she's Supergirl flying around kicking ass, it's not boring, I guess, but it's just not anything really special. And plus, given the hour leading into it, you're just not really invested because the film just doesn't really try to invest you with a good script and good direction and good execution. Speaking of the girl sidekick, what is it with this trope in the films where the main character has to be paired with a really bland British kid character? That's just how I felt about this character. Every time she spoke, her dialogue felt forced. I didn't believe the character. She was repetitive, like she kept constantly saying, "My name is blah 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 from the whatever tribe," like the Princess Bride thing. "My name is Antigua Montoya, you killed my father," blah blah blah. I just didn't care for the character. I felt she had no chemistry with Kara. Again, she was bland. Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, Jason Momoa is in here as Lobo. He finally gets to play the character he's wanted to play for the last 15 years. And what purpose does Lobo serve to this film? I would say jack and shit. He serves almost zero purpose to this story. The one remote purpose he serves is in the climax where Kara, Supergirl, gets into a bit of a tight spot and he shows up as a Deus Ex Machina to get her out of it, and then it just pisses off. And I chuckled during Lobo's introductory scene because Kara and the blonde girl are in this bar, and Lobo comes out of the shadows, and Kara goes, "Oh my god, it's Lobo. He's an immortal, blah blah blah." She basically reads his character bio to like explain to the blonde girl who it is. Again, going back to the script, all due respect to the writer, first time script. Why did you hire somebody who had never written a script before? Oh yeah, terrible villain as well. What was his name? Creme, Crispy Creme? I don't know. It was just so over the top, really cartoony, and exaggerated. I'm okay with a subpar villain if the villain guides the hero on the hero's journey and it serves the story. But again, given that Kara's superhero journey in here is not written or executed all that well, the shitty villain stands out as being even shittier. As uninspired as the script was, I gotta say the direction felt almost equally as uninspired. It felt like Craig Gillespie read the script and went, oh, let's just make it, I guess. And he didn't try to bring it to life and spruce it up with some style or flair or getting some incredible performances from the actors. In fact, there were some scenes where the lighting was quite piss poor, like dark, and you could barely tell what was going on. There's a big fight scene halfway through this film where a car is flying around fighting bad guys, Lobo jumps in there, and it's at night time in a poorly lit area on this city, on this alien planet. And at a point, I just kind of zoned out. I just stopped trying to make sense of what was going on because Kara was flying around fighting people, the blonde girl's trying to do her thing, Lobo's there, just being very loud, and yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with this film. Again, the script was the main problem here. All due respect to the writer, but why they went out and got someone who hadn't written before, I just don't know. And they're keeping her. She's writing the Wonder Woman script and some other scripts as well. Safe to say this film did not get my confidence of the DCU on the right track after not loving Superman last year.